Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Journey. So Mikola is out on the global servers, and I've been paying attention to both server 1, which is normally the biggest whale server, or that district anyway, and also my own, and I want to show you guys some results that I've been seeing from her in bosses. She is not working the way I thought she would work. There could be a couple reasons for this, and I want to go through those, but essentially she is dealing just about 0 damage, and her main value is going to come from her buffing capabilities. Now, she's a tricky one because she is a bit of a different unit, so it is going to take longer to know her full functionality, but I wanted to go through her at Supreme Plus and what she's actually providing, because for me in bossing, it seems like her Supreme Plus really isn't needed, not even her Mythic Plus to be honest, to get her true bossing value. Now there could be an issue in that maybe the damage that she deals from her exclusive equipment, maybe that's getting added to the allies' damage that she is buffing. I don't know, because her damage numbers are just seeming ridiculously low. Now, massive shout out to Lexi over in my district for sharing the team. So as you can see, this is a 54 billion team, which is a pretty decent team. We will go look at server 1 as well and see the results over there on top of that. But for this one, you can see she is dealing no damage. We've got Smokey dealing over 8 times her damage, which is ridiculous because I thought her kit looked like she was going to have more damage. And keeping in mind that Smokey only deals damage for 10 seconds of the fight. So that is where I am utterly confused on the way she's actually meant to function. However, her buffing capabilities are nice, and I think her main pairing is going to be along with Shakir and also Smokey to hype above someone. Luckily, we just got Lily in the game, who is like the best character to hyper buff in the game currently. And so when you're buffing Lily with Shakir's, his aura, and then you're also getting the aura from Smokey, and then you're also getting the aura from her, you're like double stacking haste buffs, you're getting massive attack buffs, and it just allows you to have that hyper carry that does crazy. Now, Freyasto's doing well because normally you can get both him and his clone in range of it, and as you can see, they are doing pretty decent damage here. But let's go ahead and look. So I want to jump into her skills, and then I'll show you guys this run to show you how she's sort of working in this bossing capacity. But the thing that's got me confused is this exclusive equipment. I need confirmation on how it's meant to work from the team directly, because I can't see it in battles myself. Mikola enhances, and if you guys have any ideas, please let me know in the comments. Like I said, this isn't me meant to know everything about Mikola right now. This is just giving you guys my day 1 of seeing Supreme Plus testing with her and not quite understanding where it's going. But Mikola enhances her courage sphere after it has been active for 6 seconds, granting combat fury to all allied heroes except herself within range, and dealing damage equal to 50% of her attack per second to enemies adjacent to these allies. Now, I believe one of the things that could be happening is that when I first read this, I thought each ally was going to be dealing that damage, but maybe if they're both adjacent to the same enemy, that damage only gets dealt once. That would make more sense to me. However, her being less than an 1/8 of Smokey's damage when he deals damage in a 10-second window for an entire fight, that doesn't add up when you consider the fact that Smokey's cap is 200% of his attack with his damage. Hers actually goes up to 70%. So considering she's doing this the whole fight, you would think, or at least 50% of the fight, you think she would be close to Smokey's damage, at least in some aspect. Now, this could also come back to the fact that Smokey is actually broken and they haven't implemented that 200% of his attack cap on him, and I don't know how he scales on bosses, but I definitely think that is a contributing factor, because there is no way that Smokey obeys the natural rules of the game, but I don't think they're going to fix him now. So that is another thing, but her damage is just absolutely lackluster from this, and I think it is because she's only dealing damage to that enemy once, even if multiple allies are adjacent, and that is the way I believe it's calculating. But once again, it could be that her damage from this is getting added onto that ally's damage capacity, where I'm not 100% sure how that is working yet, because the other thing we had is her courage sphere remains unaffected in duration if her side gains control of the honor arena. So this is where I think this should be ticking the entire battle, because it's after 6 seconds it gets enhanced, but if it's no longer affected by the duration, then it should be pulsing this damage the entire battle, which means she only has 6 seconds, or maybe give it 10 seconds at the start of the battle to ramp it up, claim the field, and then she should be dealing this damage the whole time. But that's why I was thinking she was going to have damage. So there's two parts to this. One, provided that the damage is not getting added to the allies, which that's an assumption hopefully we can make, because hopefully they coded it right. It means that if she is actually working as a functional buffer, she should probably have functionality at low copies for players in bossing, because all she's getting from these two is damage, which is absolutely lackluster. Now, she is dealing a bit of extra damage, which will contribute to her healing from that. So that is definitely something to consider. Maybe her healing falls off as well. But if this is actually doing nothing, then, yeah, I mean, you don't really need it. So that's the thing where I'm utterly confused. Let me know what you guys think about that. But where she comes into play. So what does she actually provide to her team? With this one, allies, this is a heal and the extra physical and magical defense, which is decent, but it's unreliable is what I would call this in bossing. If we go to this one, the honor arena, all you have to do is control this, which is really easy to do on bossing, and then she is giving that attack buff to all allies, which is pretty solid, which is a 20% attack buff. So, and this one, the great thing about this is all you have to do is control the arena. Allies don't have to be in the vicinity of her ult range or in the arena range. All you have to do is control that arena. If that arena is green, all allies are getting that 20% attack buff, which is solid. Then her ultimate, all allies within range of that are getting the 40 haste, the range defense as well, but the big thing is the 40 haste for bossing. So essentially what she is providing in battle to her allies is any allies in range of this get the haste, and any allies on the battlefield, provided you hold it, will get the 20% attack. So those are the two big buffs that she's really bringing to the team. And as long as you get your Lily in range of this, she's getting hyper buffed. And that's why I think her with Smokey, with Shakira is going to be the main team. And I want to show you guys this one. Before we go ahead and look at server 1. And as you can see, and the easy way, I'm going to slow it down. The easy way to tell who she is buffing, we've got to get to her first ult first. So she's about to ult here. Boom. Okay, and when I said 10 seconds, it probably takes her 10 seconds to get her first ult. So keep that in mind. So her damage shouldn't ramp up till later, but once again, her damage just feels non-existent. But the big thing you can see here is, if we look at Lily May, you can see she should creep forward, and now you can see all the buffs on Lily May. And the obvious one we look for here is double haste buffs, to know that she is in range. And you can actually see the extra Freyasto on the edge is also technically in range of her buffs, because you can see those buffs collapsing out. And you compare that to Smokey's buffs, which has none. So yes, she is applying the buffs to like the very fringe of her circle, which is a handy thing as well. But you can see just the buffing capacity in this type of team, and especially when Lily does her dance, it's just insane amounts of damage. Okay, so now we're starting to ramp up these buffs. You can see she's got the double haste buffs right next to each other. So I think it's the easiest way to look for the buffs is just to look for those haste buffs, and then you can see that yes, Lily is stacking those buffs like crazy, and that is where we're getting the value out of her. Now, the thing that you've got to weigh up is this the kind of play you want to do? Now, over on my test server, because I have a well built up Lily at Supreme over there, I was even finding her to be good at one copy there, because she was providing that extra hyper buffing when I had a built unit. However, if you've got multiple built units for free to play players, it doesn't become worth it to bring Mikola over something like a second DPS, whether it be your Odie, whether it be your Marilee, something like that. And that is where I think it's going to be account specific based on what you have. And like I said, this one, you do want units that can take advantage of that aura that she has. Shakira is a great one because once again, he further buffs allies with his aura, and then you can get that hyper buffing type capacity with it. I don't think worrying about allies being in melee range is a thing, because once again, she is just not dealing damage with that exclusive equipment. So this does lend itself to keep an eye out on this space. I originally thought she was going to be an all or nothing hero, meaning you need Supreme Plus or she'd be useless. Now I feel like she might just be a one copy hero, and some people may get some utility out of her in bossing, regardless of where you're at. Because if we look at this, that 1 billion damage is not crazy, But those buffs apply no matter what, because the buffs are not based on her stats. The buffs are just raw, like 20% attack and 40 haste. So she provides those buffs no matter what. And so I think that is where she's going to be viable. And because you're normally running her as a secondary buffer alongside Smokey, her healing isn't actually that important. So I may pull one copy of her on my actual account to test this and let you guys know how one copy goes, because I do think there is that viability. Now, as for AFK stage pushing PvP, still yet to be determined. But for bossing, it's interesting because I think her main effect is going to be just her buffing capabilities, not her damage, which I thought originally she was going to want Supreme Plus to get that damage. Once again, it could be that she's bugged, that the damage is not displaying correctly. I don't know, but that's just what I am looking at so far. So let's bounce over to server 1. I'll show you the results there, and then we'll cap it off. Okay, so here we are over on District 1. Now, obviously, things that we need to state are that not everyone will share their results, so there could be people getting higher scores without sharing their actual results. And we're assuming that, you know, a bunch of these whales are summoning right on when she drops to go ahead and get those copies. So once again, she could creep into higher. I just want to show you where it's at the moment. I'm recording this about 5 hours after she actually dropped. I wanted to give it some time. So as you can see, these results have been shared today, and obviously these guys still need to do their testing and stuff like that, but we do see her starting to get some usage. If you remember, the one over on my district was at 54 billion, so it would have slotted right in between Rini and Sensors if we're looking for reference. And as we scroll down, I think we do see one start to pop in here at the 51 range. And once again, if we jump over into this one is using the Scarlita. I do think that instead of Scarlita, this team would actually benefit more from running the Shakir. That's the way I am feeling about her at the moment, but Scarlita is great for Skyclops for punting those enemies. But as you can see here, once again, she's just not doing damage. So honestly, for me, this is actually a really promising thing in my mind, because I'm thinking maybe we have a character that we get good usage out of just one copy. I mean, her healing in this battle is insane, along with the Smoky healing. Like, it's a crazy amount of healing. But if we don't need all that healing in a battle, and her buffing is good enough to add to the other buffing capabilities of the team, and her damage is not the main part, and her healing is not 100% necessary because we are running her with that Smoky, then I'm hoping that maybe she's going to be like a good low dupe unit, which is completely opposite to what I was thinking before she actually released. So that is something to think about. I may pull one copy on my other account, just so I can test this on my own free-to-play account that I am very familiar with and test those results at low dupes, because I think it could be a thing. But I'll let you guys know. I will update you guys, but that is my first look at her. Like I said, not exactly what I was expecting out of her, but kind of fills me with hope for maybe low dupe viability. I'll keep you guys posted. But anyway, let me know if you've done any testing, you guys got any theories or results on her, and I will keep updating. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.